In the heads-up freestyle, you're gonna be using a lot of lower body strength to try to keep that whole body up on top of the water and to propel yourself forward. Flat hands, nice strong follow-through stroke with high elbows.
So Andrew is coming with his hands entering directly out from his shoulders.
So reaching out to the front.
In order to make up for your head being so high in the water, you have to have a big, strong kick behind you and a tight core.
So you don't want your head bobbing back and forth as you go down the pool, and that takes effort, it takes control, and that comes from having a very tight core and making sure that your arms are not moving your entire body. Notice my head is still, I'm getting a high elbow catch, and I have a big, loud kick behind me.
Notice also how she's setting her arms into the water. She's not flinging them all around like a spin drill, but instead she has purposeful movement with where her hands are being placed.
You want to have your hand on the offensive player at all times. You want it on the side of their body, pushing them out further away from the goal. Hands-on is critical so that if you look away, you always know where they are. Hips up. We call this a crab position. Your hips are up and your legs are egg beating tucked in underneath your body.
Okay, so I want to have my hips up. I want to be mobile. I want to keep him guessing as to where I am. My arms are here. I'm not too tight and I'm able to be mobile. So anytime a ball crosses, I'm doing this, taking quick movements and closing off a side. You basically want to have your butt to the ball, hips up, good body position. So the ball's over there, that's where my butt is, ball's on the other side, butt's facing that direction.
If he does go behind me and starts driving towards the one side, I can easily go over my hips and I can swim and I can refine the ball on either side. Okay, but the critical thing is taking away ball side.
Your base position in water polo is the position you should start from every time you have the ball. Your legs and left arm should act like a tripod. Your chest should be slightly angled downwards so that you're leaning forward. Your throwing shoulder should be pinched, your elbow should be at the same height as your ear, and your wrist should be bent backwards facing the goal. Another common mistake is the tendency to put your legs too far underneath your shooting arm. As a result, when you accelerate with your legs, you will be moving laterally and will not be able to fully use your body to generate power. This also leads to inconsistency in your throw and the inability to vary your release point. Your wrist should be facing the goal at all times, independently of how far back or forward your arm is. This allows you to complete a full wrist motion at the end of your passing or shooting motion, which allows you to generate the most power with your wrist. Notice how in the start position, the wrist is facing forward, the elbow is at the same height as the ear, the left hand is slightly out in front, the shoulder is pinched, and the chest is leaning forward. When rising to shoot, the base position does not change until the throwing motion starts. It begins with a hard breaststroke kick, followed by internal rotation of the shoulder, and ends with a snap of the wrist and follow through.
keep the ball as far away from the defense as possible at all times. You draw an invisible line through the defender's head, through your head, and that's where you need to keep the ball at all times. You'll notice here, Nick will counterbalance when Bernie moves to the right or the left, keeping the ball in that invisible line. The reason he's doing that is, if he does not, the ball gets closer to the defense, allowing Bernie to steal the ball. If he keeps it in that line between their two heads, Bernie will have to climb over Nick's head to get the ball, and that's going to be a foul. Here's an example of a drive in order to score the ball. Our drives need to pop, accelerating as quickly as possible.
Step one, got to get your hips up. If your hips are straight down, you're not ready to drive. Hips up.
Let's watch this a few times in slow motion. Note how far I reach out with my first stroke. Notice how tight I drive on the defender. Now let's watch the drive at full speed.